Hi, and welcome to the Haverhill Journal, where we give you a quick look each week at what's going on in our city. I'm Lindsay Paris, and this week we're remembering Haverhill's much-loved downtown movie houses and seeing how HHS students are learning firsthand how their favorite foods get from garden to table. But first, the latest in 3D printing technology has come to Haverhill by way of Northern Essex Community College, where the engineering faculty are developing student projects to integrate 3D printing into their curriculum. This week, Professors Jim Cahaley, Paul Cheney, and their students demonstrated just how that's being done. NECC Professor Jim Cahaley and Network Lab Technician Jason DaCosta demonstrated the new Mojo 3D printer that is allowing students to bring their design concepts to life.
This is the part as it's been designed by the student. It's a megaphone for an iPhone, I believe it's an iPhone 4 or 4S. And the student used advanced surfacing to develop this part. It's a commercially grade printer. It's made by Stratasys Corporation. The size of the parts that we're limited to is 5 inches by 5 inches by 5 inches. It uses multiple materials, but the material of choice that we're using is ABS plastic. It's printed in iterative layers. It's layer by layer by layer, about 5/1000ths of an inch thick, each layer of plastic. It just builds and builds and builds the part up until your part is finished, anywhere between 30 minutes and several hours, depending on the size of the part. Once we've developed the design here in SolidWorks, we transfer it over here to the print wizard for Mojo. It shows us how the part will look when it's finished within the printer itself. And it's easy as just, orienting our part on the floor of the printer and then just coming over here and go print.
Estimated time, 7 hours and 8 minutes, yep. And it says that it's going to be 724 layers. I believe it was Russ Gouvier was the head of the computer science department at the time, and he said to me, we're getting 3D printers and you're going to be in charge of them. You're going to do all the support for them, all the maintenance, order materials. I just was like, okay, great. That sounds awesome, but it was just too good to be true. I didn't think it was really going to happen. And then we got them, and I got to start playing with them and printing stuff, and it's been fantastic. So, everybody loves them.
There's like a print head in the very top that takes plastic, and really it melts plastic into a very small bead and starts spreading that layer by layer, building your part.
So what it did right there was it actually extruded a little bit of material, and then it brushes it off. So it heats up the extruder, pushes a little material through to make sure the extruder's clean, and then it just runs over a little brush on the left side of the machine over there. So that little metal brush over there just literally wipes the extruder off, so it's nice and clean, and now it's going to start.
Right now we have a program that's called Engineering Science, and currently there's a little over 290 students enrolled, and I believe that's over 100% increase in the last 5 years.
We want the students to feel free to be able to design anything that their mind can imagine. Up to this point, we've been teaching students that the first thing they need to do in design is to think about how it's manufactured, because that really dictates how a design is actually made. The 3D printer takes those shackles off of the engineer. Is it going to be molded? Is it going to be machined? Is it going to be ground? Is it going to be turned? No. 3D printed models can be printed exactly as if it comes right out of the mind of the engineer onto the engineer's desk immediately. Okay, our part is finished printing, so we're just going to open up the door and remove the tray and the part out of the printer. So as you can see, the part is made up of, if you can get in close, there's a lot of 700 layers of material. The part's still warm as it comes out. And so the first thing we need to do is crack off the tray off of the part. We then take this, put it into a cleaning tank. And after about maybe 4 or 5 hours of cleaning, that support material, which is water soluble, just dissolves away. And we'll have our clean part. Take our iPhone, place it in. Looks like a good fit to me. Student did pretty good here. Let's turn it on and see if it works. Yeah, sounds great.
It's absolutely going to draw more students in, and I think everybody's excited about it. I know that the students, every student that I've shown the 3D printer to so far has just, their mouth hits the floor. They're just like, no way, you can actually do this. Like, we've heard about it, we've seen pictures, but you know, it's real, and yes, it's real, and you can print anything out of thin air, and it's yours.
NECC's engineering program has seen tremendous growth over the last 10 years, helped in part by new technologies like 3D printing. For more information on the program, visit www.necc.mass.edu. Back in the first half of the 20th century, downtown Haverhill was home to no less than 4 movie theaters within just a few blocks. Longtime residents may recall going down to Merrimack Street for a relaxing afternoon of a double feature, cartoon, and news brief for only a few cents. The Journal spent an afternoon downtown trying to recapture the days of old-time Haverhill's movie magic. If you lived in the city in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, you'll remember coming to the downtown movie houses. Back in the days before Netflix and streaming video, you were guaranteed to meet your friends and neighbors who would come down to catch the latest double feature at one of downtown's 4 theaters, including the Strand here at 135 Merrimack Street. Unlike today's multiplexes, early theaters were huge 1,000-plus seat affairs, but with only one screen, so everyone saw the same film each week. Movie studios such as RKO and Paramount owned and operated the theaters, and each theater would only show films produced by their parent studio. By 1948, there were 19,000 movie theaters in the United States, more than banks or even supermarkets. Back before he became head honcho of MGM, Louis B. Mayer was a struggling young businessman trying to get his feet off the ground. Naturally, he chose no other than the great city of Haverhill to open his first theater, the Orpheum, here at 7-9 Essex Street, which opened on Thanksgiving Day, 1907. After Mayer left Haverhill, the Orpheum was subsequently renamed the Lafayette Theater, the smallest of the 4 downtown theaters with only 600 seats. Although Mayer sold the Orpheum early on, the Lafayette remained an MGM theater until it closed its doors in 1952. When Mayer returned to the city in 1954, he stopped to examine the empty marquee. In December 1911, Mayer continued on his path to stardom by opening the Colonial Theater here at 185 Merrimack Street. With 1,600 seats and a 30-piece orchestra to play during its silent features, Mayer was on track to profit from the exponential growth of the motion picture industry. Lastly, we come to the Paramount Theater on Main Street, which stood on the very spot where the famous Eagle House Hotel was in the 1800s. Coincidentally, it was raised by none other than Louis B. Mayer in 1910. Unfortunately, this entire block was demolished 45 years ago as part of urban renewal. So if you're looking for the latest Paramount picture, you're out of luck. The Paramount was known as Haverhill's grandest theater, with a 1920s-style marble and brass interior, crimson velvet curtain, and seating for 1,700. The longest-lived theater in Haverhill, it remained open for over 40 years, hosting not only movies, but Haverhill High School graduations and other events, until the building's demolition in 1968. The Strand closed its doors in 1957, and the Colonial was knocked down in November 1963. After the decline of the studio system and the ubiquity of television, movie houses shuttered across the country, including all 4 in downtown Haverhill. But the golden age of film lives on for those who remember it and even those who don't. It's an era of communal entertainment that everyone could enjoy for only a quarter. A fact that does not escape me here at the multiplex, where you'll please excuse me as I go buy my overpriced movie ticket. Downtown theaters, I wish I knew ya. It's true, movies just aren't the same anymore. But between DVR, YouTube, and streaming video, hey, we've got it pretty good. Haverhill High School special education students are getting a hands-on education in gardening and cooking, coordinated by HHS staff member Nancy Burke with help from a grant from the MTA Farm to School program. At their recent Harvest Day, students proudly showed off the fruits of their labor.
We'll start over here in the salsa garden. We can pick the tomatoes and we can get the peppers and some cilantro. This morning we had made Texas caviar with the students in the class from the vegetables we picked in our garden that we grew. It's a healthy snack, and everyone is involved and everyone got the opportunity to do something.
There's a double one right here.
I think there's more than one in there.
3.
Okay. How you doing? Nancy, is that the other garden over there? Yeah.
So we had the kids rinse off all of the vegetables and cut them up. Some of the kids made the dressing, other kids were chopping. We have adapted equipment, so some of the kids were using chopping machines, some were using knives if they were able to, and just assist them and make sure that they're all having some kind of a part in what we were doing, and then just putting it all together and serving it to you guys. So.
There you go. Another potato. Good job. I went to the MTA workshop down in Cape Cod, and I saw a workshop called Farm to School with Simca Horowitz from MTA. And I went, and when I saw that, I really thought this is really something we could do with our kids, and I could share my passion of gardening with the students in the classroom. And I thought it would be really a great thing for the kids to be able to grow their vegetables themselves and know where their food comes from and to eat healthy food.
Farm to School we're a statewide organization that works to improve access to healthy local foods in schools and other institutions. In Haverhill, this has been a partnership with the Massachusetts Teachers Association. And what we've done is provide training and support for educational support professionals in the Haverhill Public Schools.
One of my paraprofessionals actually was seeking out a grant so that she could have the garden outside, and we kind of just took that and incorporated it into our daily schedule and did some reading comprehension on gardening and healthy eating, and kind of had the kids just go outside and plant and be able to find, the items and carry them in and actually make food from what they have grown.
Here at the high school, Nancy's worked on particularly building accessible raised bed gardens so that students who of all different abilities can really access a school garden.
So we made a salsa garden and a raised garden bed for the handicapped students to be able to have access to it, because some of them can't bend over and dig into the dirt. And then we did another raised garden bed, and we built a stew garden.
Give it a yank. Use that other
Wait till they take a picture.
Nice job.
One of the big things is that benefits them is they're learning where their food comes from. They're learning about healthy eating. They're actually outside and participating and digging in the dirt when some other time they may never ever have that opportunity. And so for them, it's a win-win situation because they get to do it all, from the beginning of planting the plants and the seeds to eating the food that they've grown.
Was it fun making the caviar today?
Oh, yeah, huh? I chop up the celery and the tomato, too.
We want to add on more to the garden. I'm looking for someone who could help us with funds to build an outdoor classroom, to build a pavilion so we can put picnic tables out there, and we can build another garden so we can build a squash and pumpkin garden.
Being able to go outside and work in the soil and leave the classroom and get some education outside and kind of tie it into what we're working on for academics in the classroom, it really brings it full circle for them. They love it. They love going outside. Like today when they were out showing everybody their garden, they were all smiling and so proud of themselves. So it gives them a sense of self-esteem when they're able to show people what they worked so hard on.
What? Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3, go.
Okay, we'll continue the first.
Job well done by HHS students and faculty. The garden is beautiful, and that Texas caviar was delicious. The annual Greek Festival is happening this weekend, October 3rd, 4th, and 5th, at Holy Apostles Greek Orthodox Church at 154 Winter Street in Haverhill. Enjoy the best baklava and Greek food in town, with vendors and live music on Saturday night. The festival is open Friday from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 a.m., and Sunday from 12 to 5 p.m. For more information, call 978-373-3311 or visit the Holy Apostles Haverhill Facebook page. If you have a story or event you'd like to see featured on the Haverhill Journal, call us at 978-372-8070 or email info@mediahc.org. And don't forget to like us on Facebook or at our YouTube channel, HCTV Haverhill. And that's what's happening in Haverhill the week of October 2nd. I'm Lindsay Paris, and we'll see you next week.